Hello and welcome. My name is Kimberly Grymes, and I am a self published author. And this is From Ideas to Pages to Publishing, a podcast where I'll be documenting my writing and publishing progress and sharing tips and tricks of the trade that I've picked up from others in the publishing industry. When it comes to my personal author experience, you can expect me to share the good, the bad, my wins, and the days I sit in the corner all curled up and crying. It's all part of the growing process to become the best author I can be, and hopefully my experiences can help others. Before I jump in and give you a quick writing update, I want to remind listeners that From Ideas to Pages to Publishing has a writing support group on Patreon. We meet once a month to cheer each other on as we work to reach our writing and author business goals. So, if you're interested in a writing group focused on project accountability and motivation to keep moving forward on your writing and author business goals, then check out the From Ideas to Pages to Publishing Patreon group. The group is meant to be a budget-friendly resource with low commitment and high results. All right, welcome to episode 14. This week, I have two things I want to share with you, but after my quick project update. Normally, I talk about one particular thing that has happened to me over the last week, but today I have two. I'm going to share with you an experience I had over the past week regarding my writing tenses and my Shopify page. So let's jump into my writing projects. Book 3 in my YA Dark Fantasy 3 Shades trilogy, titled Shades and Blood Oaths, is still out with the line editor. I'll keep you posted on when I get that back. The Kickstarter, which is for my YA Dark Fantasy 3 Shades trilogy, it's an omnibus of all 3 books in one. Well, today is June 27th, which means we are 82 days away from launch day. Not much to add for the Kickstarter. I still haven't finished setting up the annotated layout for Book 1, Shade of Light. I'm about 2/3 done with setting up the layout before I add all of the annotated comments. And I really haven't had too much time to work on that second short story. The outline is done. I just need to sit down and write it. That should take about a weekend or a week when I do finally get to it. Next project update is the Prairie Land Romantasy. I was supposed to be writing chapter 2 last week, but something came up regarding the tenses I should be writing in regarding writing in adult romantasy. And that took a few days to sort out. It was kind of a mini panic mode. I wouldn't say full-on panic mode. Full-on panic mode would be that Substack shutdown incident. And that's why I felt it was really important to bring it up and talk about it in this week's episode. But I'm back on track and I'm starting to work on chapter 2 for this week. Okay, moving on. The Secret Author Collab Project. Okay. We had a meeting last weekend and we talked about our writing and publishing timeline. Everything is on schedule and we're in the drafting stage of writing the stories. We decided that we weren't going to reveal anything about the project until later this year, like end of November or early December. And we made this decision because there are some authors in the group who have releases coming out in the fall, and we didn't want to overlap or wash out the excitement for their releases or for this project. I myself am not releasing a book this fall, but I do have the Omnibus Kickstarter, and I want to really focus on promoting that. And I'll be starting the pitching process with agents for the Prairie Land Romantasy. So, going forward with project updates regarding the Secret Author Collab project, I will mostly be just sharing word count updates until the official project reveal in November or December. Okay, that's all for my writing projects. Now let's jump into the first author experience topic for this week, writing tenses. So if you're not sure what I mean when I say writing tenses, I mean like first person, third person, past tense, present tense. Every writer has a comfort zone when writing a story, or if you look at it from a reader's point of view, readers also have a preference with tenses when reading. I believe certain genres of fiction have certain norms and expectations when it comes to tenses, but when an author pivots into a new genre, like I am doing, going from young adult fantasy fiction to adult romance and fantasy stories, I have to reassess my writing style. Well, I didn't think I did at first, but then I had a bit of a panic moment and I needed to reassess whether I should continue writing first person present tense. And this is my comfort zone. I enjoy writing in first person present tense. When I decided to start writing adult romance and fantasy books or romantasy books, and I even created a new pen name to keep the YA books separate from the adult fiction books, I assumed I could continue writing these adult stories in first person present tense style. Okay, jumping back a bit for a little backstory. After establishing and organizing the Author Collab project, one of the first things we decided as a group was what writing style we were all going to follow. We wanted all of our books to be consistent in the tense. I think there were a few of us who did write in first person present tense, but the majority wrote in first person past tense. And it was decided as the group to follow the first person past tense for the collab. In my mind at the time, I was like, not a problem. I can write first person past tense. And it wasn't a problem when I started writing the first chapter for the collab project story. It took a little getting used to writing in past tense rather than present tense, but I worked it out. And I think going forward, as long as I have a little cheat sheet that I keep on the side of my laptop to remind me of certain things that are different between present tense POV and past tense POV. So this visual is a great trigger for my brain to remember, hey, we're writing in past tense. But here's where I had the mini panic attack last week. When I switched writing from my author collab story, to continuing writing my Prairieland Romantasy, which is my own project that I will be pitching to agents this fall. When I went to go start working on the second chapter, I realized I was writing one Romantasy, the author collab, in past tense, and my Prairie Romantasy in present tense. Then I started to question if the Prairieland Romantasy should be written in past tense too. Not because their projects are related, but just because I started to think about reader expectations at this point. And so, for the next few days after this, I fell down a rabbit hole of trying to figure out reader expectations, literary agent expectations, trad publishing housing expectations for this romantasy genre, or even just adult fiction. So, in addition to doing a lot of research online, I reached out to a few author friends. So, a lot of feedback from actual people who read romantasies or who write romantasy. And I just wanted to get their feedback. I even posted a poll in Threads, and the results were more for past tense than present tense. So that also heightened my concern of which tense I should be writing in consistently in all of my romantasy books. The majority of my author friends had all pretty much said the same thing in regards to, yes, past tense is typically the norm when writing in adult fiction, especially adult romantasy, but there are a lot of upcoming authors who are very popular and have gotten really great reader feedback and sales in writing first person present tense. They really stress to me it's more about consistency within the story, making sure your story is consistent. And if you're going to write present tense, make sure you're really getting into that POV. So this was great. I felt a little bit better, but I was still teetering with not sure what to do. And so I reached out to my book coach, Connolly. I needed someone who had worked in the trad side of publishing, and so she was ideal. I emailed her, and her email back to me was exactly the reassurance I needed to continue writing in my comfort zone. She had pretty much said everything everybody else had said to me, but she included a huge list of these authors that have recently published in first person present tense, including Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. And this really helped me get over my fear of which tense to use. If you're comfortable writing a certain style or tense, then stay in your comfort zone. Unless you absolutely have to, do what works best for you. I tend to overthink everything, and even though I know this deep down in my gut, I tend to worry about what other people will think. So going forward, the Prairieland Romantasy will be first person present tense, And then the author collab project will be first person past tense. Okay, now the second thing I want to share with you is that my Shopify website is live. It took a few weeks to learn the basics because there's a lot to learn with running the shop side of things. I still need to get better with the actual processing the orders and distributing orders, but for now, the shop is up. It was really important to me that my author page looked more like an author website first and then a direct sales shop second. And I think I accomplished this with the homepage that's more informational than jumping straight into shop mode. If you want to check it out, it's kimberlygrymes.com. Some things I still have to figure out: how to integrate BookFunnel into the shop so I can include ebooks in my shop. Supposedly it's fairly easy, and hopefully I'll have an update with you for that. Also, I want to add merch, some direct from me and some through print-on-demand company like Printful. So that's something for down the road. Another thing that was a huge important thing that I needed to make sure was on this Shopify page was, on my old website, I used my universal links, which was kimberlygrymes.com/links. I needed to continue that page onto the Shopify page. So Shopify has a pages feature, but they include the word page in the URL. So I don't know if you can visual this or not, but they were doing kimberlygrymes.com/pages/links. And I needed to get that word pages out of the URL because in my books and on hundreds of bookmarks and on social media, I use that universal links, and I wanted to redirect and make sure that those QR codes were still active. Can't have somebody trying to use the QR code and get the 404 page. So it was really important for me to figure out how I can salvage that URL. And I did that by Shopify has a redirect URL feature. It's under the menus. It took me a while to find this because so many different places kept telling me to go to different areas in the dashboard of Shopify, and I couldn't find it. But eventually I found it. It's in the menus. And what you do is you go into the redirect URL and you put in what page you have and where you want it to go. I was able to salvage that, and I'm really excited. All the QR codes on my bookmarks out there and in my books will still work, which was quite a win for me. I was very excited. That was probably the most exciting thing that happened this week. I still have to try to send a newsletter through Shopify because that was the third component that was the reason why I decided to move to Shopify, was because I wanted to move my author website, I wanted to move the shop and my newsletter, those three things, all to one location rather than WordPress and PayHip and then a different, well, I was using Substack, but we all know how that went. So now it's all on one, hopefully. But for now, I'm happy with Shopify. Now I just need to make sure that I can sell enough books to cover that monthly cost. Okay, that is all for episode 14. I'll be back next week with more updates and more experiences to share. Until next time, thank you for listening from Ideas to Pages to Publishing with me, Kimberly Grymes. For more information about me, my books, and my author shop, visit kimberlygrymes.com/links, because that links page now works and the author shop is working.